Good evening, and if you've been watching this season so far, you know we've had some parity with 4 different race winners and 6 races overall, but 3 of those races were won by our ST Pro Class points leader Elvis Rankin. Tonight, can Elvis rack up a back-to-back Classic Sprint Series championship with a win in the series finale, or are we going to see another contender from the pack rise up to spoil his victory party? Welcome to the series finale of the Season 18 of the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Elite Texas Graphics. I'm Larry Lefty McLeod, and stepping in tonight to join me in the booth is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Marco Barbonera. Marco, welcome to the Ricmo series, and it's been an exciting series so far as we wrap up here at the season finale. We've had battles in ST Pro and ST Open, but tonight we're at a tough track here at Barber Motorsports Park, place notoriously difficult to pass. How critical tonight do you think it's going to be for these drivers to set up a good position in qualifying?
Well, first of all, hello everyone. Thank you, Larry. Nice to be back doing Ricmotech once again. You know, I think that this is one of the most beautiful racetracks in the world. You know, sometimes in Europe we look at American racetracks, with superiority, but in reality I don't think that it's correct. There are some of the best tracks in your stomping grounds, guys, and this is probably one of my favorite. But you are right, amazing track to hot lap and to race, but so difficult to pass. I'm sure the drivers, I can hear them already, they are getting geared up for qualifying because starting at the front will be absolutely mandatory.
Yeah, it really is. If you get yourself stuck in the back, or if you have an off on lap 1 or something, we've seen this in the other rounds coming out of other races here on Apex Racing TV, where drivers get off in the first lap and they get pushed to the back and they just can never make it up because this place is just so tough to pass. But it really does bring the cream to the top when this place is so tough and those great drivers can put down those great laps. And even as the race plays on, you can pick up a position or two, but it creates a lot of side-by-side action here at this wonderful track. And it does look beautiful, as you mentioned.
We are just waiting for the last 3 minutes of practice. As you can see, Travis Venke is leading in front of the Canadian McDam and, of course, series superstar Elvis Rankin. But all of these drivers, I mean, I know them, have been, they've been around the block for quite a while. Robert Hartley, John Allen, Mitchell Peak. I mean, these drivers, just their names. Edgar Sanchinelli, of course, one of my favorites, especially because he is clearly of Italian origin. And so, I mean, I love, and how can you go wrong with some MX-5 racing? I mean, this is some of the closest, most exciting racing you can get in all of iRacing.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it always it presents really great racing because these cars they race well side by side. A lot of people love GT racing or the high end, the prototypes. Me, I'm a big fan of things like the MX-5, where it's all about momentum, it's all about precision, but there is something about that chucking it sideways alongside somebody and fighting for that entry to the next corner that really, to me, brings out some of the best racing. And I think we're going to try and see some of that tonight. I really do. I think we're going to see some of the guys who are fighting for position in the series. As here we are at the finale, they want a podium in the overall championship, and they're going to push for it tonight. You get guys like Mike Dam, who's shown flashes of just brilliance this year, struggled at times. You've had Robert Hartley, who took a win earlier in the season. You mentioned Mitchell Peak. So you've had some guys that have really taken wins. They're all now in a battle for that second, third, and fourth position in the championship. So I think we're going to see some of them really pushing hard tonight. So tell you what, while we have a few minutes as they wrap up their practice here and get ready to start the qualifying, we've got a track guide to show you this wonderful Barber Motorsports Park. So let's roll that and take a look at this beautiful place.
Welcome, everyone, to beautiful Barber Motorsports Park, located here in Leeds, Alabama. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this just amazing road course. A lot of undulation, a lot of blind entries here. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll head up the front straightaway as we get some good speed down this straight to head into a very blind drop off to the left of turn 1. Crossing the stripe, we'll head down here into this blind entry. We're going to lift, let the car rotate right to the bottom here, come right back to throttle, and set up our entry into turn 2. Let the car rotate here, come right back to the bottom, out of turn 3, and then up into this blind crest of turn 4. This will bring us down to the heaviest brake zone here at Barber, turn 5. Hard on the brakes as we get the car to rotate down to the bottom here. Come right back to throttle, up into third gear. Let it track out nice and wide so we can get that momentum here for this next straightaway. Around the slight bend of turn 6 there, this will take us down into the corkscrew of 7, 8, and 9. Heavy on the brakes, into 7, back left for 8, and then down into turn 9. Rotate to the bottom. Again, track out off the corner. Let's get some good speed as we head up the back straightaway here at Barber Motorsports Park. This will take us into turns 10 and 11. Right back to the right, just a slight lift of throttle. Then we'll come into the blindest corner and the fastest blind entry here into turn 13. Up over the crest of the hill here through 14. Down into turn 15 up here as we come up the hill to yet another blind entry. Let the car rotate to the bottom, get some good momentum. We're going to track out to the right and come right back to throttle through the final turn of 16, and then back down this very fast front straightaway here. As we cross the stripe once again, there you go. There's your track guide for Barber Motorsports Park. Thank you for being with us.
And we are back. So after we've taken a look at that track map, you can see how tough this place is going to be on these drivers. But as we enter this round, our drivers are out there now taking their opening warm-up lap here for their qualifying session. We'll take a look a little bit about recap what happened in the last round. Where last round we were at Canadian Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, where it was Elvis Rankin series leader in the points, taking the win there. And ahead of Robert Hartley came home second, Mike Dam, David Payton, those couple of Canadians there in third and fourth. And that was in our ST Pro class. In the ST Open, you had Josh Soto again, who's solidified himself pretty strong right now in the points. He took the first place, 5th overall in the race, first in the ST Open. And he was followed by, in that class, if I could take a look, Nick Parsono and Jeff Cranston finishing second and third in the open class at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. So we'll take a look at the point standings as we've got 6 rounds in the books now out of 7 for the season. And at the top of the rankings, there it is. The man at the top of the rankings is Rankin himself, Elvis Rankin, with a pretty substantial lead right now over Zach Burke. Zach has won a round. I think he won at Belle Isle here a couple weeks back. He's currently sitting in second. And third is Mike Dam, who also won a race earlier this season. He's in third, just a couple of points ahead of Robert Hartley, who also had a win earlier this year. John Allen has been on the podium a couple of times. He's right there in 5th. Travis Schwenke in 6th. Mitchell Peak in 7th. Anthony Kernan, Tony Kernan there in 8th. Jeff Jacobs in 9th. And Jordy Fike there in 10th. So that's in our ST Pro. Take a look at our ST Open standings. And as I mentioned earlier, Josh Soto has been really strong this season, not only winning a lot of races here in the ST Open, he's actually been mixing it up with the ST Pros as well. So strong finishes there has got him with a big points lead right now over second place, Brennan Horan. And Edgar Sancinelli currently in third, followed by Jeff Cranston, Derek Holland, Michael Key, Greg Brockway, Nick Parsono, Danny McNulty, and in 10th, Robert Brist here in the ST Open. That's our point standings as we are right now entering. We are at race number 7 of 7 in the series. This is it. So if you're gonna take a win, gonna take the points, this is the place to do it and try to wind out the season as we are on track now in qualifying about 4 minutes in. A lot of drivers have 1 in the books, currently on their second, and at the top, no surprises there. It's Elvis Rankin once again. Marco, I think we're going to be mentioning his name quite a bit tonight as he's already set in provisional pole time.
Absolutely, as we can see, he's going, I think, for another one, 1:37.60 so far, as we can bring you the qualifying overlay. Other drivers, a lot of drivers still have to set their first lap. Only 13 drivers with a valid lap time so far. Let's see, we have also Robert Hartley. John Allen is also coming to the start-finish line. Jump on board with him. This beautiful final section. Treacherous pit entry, by the way. Gotta be super careful, especially if you are following someone. Or if, you know, are ahead of someone and they want to enter pit road. Need to have a little bit of communication, otherwise bad things can happen.
Yeah, it definitely is. It just sort of peels off there right in the middle of the corner. Just taking a look as we see now, we've got at the top of the standing Zach Burke, the Canadian, again, who's had some success this season. He's currently now put the top time in, now outdone by Elvis Rankin as they're now swapping times. Taking a look at practice earlier, it was actually Travis Schwenke who had the fastest time in practice, followed by Mike Dam. So it really is looking like a pretty level field here tonight. I think Elvis Rankin has had strong races, but if there's a race where there's contenders, I think these guys are all bringing their A game tonight.
As I was finally able to grab the class colors on the timing tower, maybe let's have them a little bit more, more clear, like this. And the purple for the selected one, of course, as you can probably already can tell after 7 rounds of devoted watching of the championship. Black are the pros and red are the open drivers.
Yep, and they'll show that as well on their mirrors, and the windshield banners will be the same way. Actually, just the mirrors. The windshield banners, I think, are fixed here for the MX-5. But the mirrors will be, in fact, red for the open class, where you've got Brennan Horn right now just a little touch quicker than his chief rival there, Josh Soto, who's been the one leading the points in that. And there's a on board there with Brennan Horn, currently 11th overall. And he really would like to... if he can't catch Josh Soto, I'm sure he would like to solidify himself in second in that tough open class. You can see the red mirrors on that car, as you mentioned there in the ST Open. At the front, though, it's tight between Elvis Rankin now just less than a tenth ahead of Zach Burke. And there's right now Elvis in his Apex Racing livery car. So he got a little bit of an off. This lap will not count for him. So this is his final lap that he's on, I think. This will not help him at all. Door might be open for everyone else, like Zach Burke, Mike Dam, Mitchell Peak, Hartley, and Schwenke, as I mentioned, was quickest in practice. And
here
now it's Mike Dam.
Yep.
Yep, Mike Dam to the front right now, just ahead of Rankin. And like I said, I don't think Elvis is going to go any quicker. So Mike Dam, that's his second flyer. And you can see what he's doing. He quickly pulled in, went back to the pits. With 4 laps qualifying counting, what you could do is you could go back in, coming for one more out lap, and then one more flyer. You can actually get 2 different flyers on fresh tires if you want, and that looks like maybe what Mike Dam is doing. Rankin, though, is out of laps to do that. Then you've got, of course, Zach Burke. He's on his last lap right now. There's John Allen, then a 101 car. John would like a good finish here. He's struggled at times in this series, had a good podium finish back at Mid-Ohio, but I'm sure he would like to finish this season on the top step if he can get there, but not going to be easy here at Barber Motorsports Park.
I love to hear the tires squeal as the car is sliding through the final portion of the racetrack. Here comes John Allen on the start-finish line. He's improved the first 2 sectors and the 4th, not the 3rd. And in the end, his lap is good for 4th place, so not bad. And now he goes for an off-track, but I think that's going to be it for his qualifying.
Yeah, he would have had one more lap if he didn't just put that off, but if that's a 1X, this is not going to help him. Certainly it's not going to be the fast way around here on his 4th lap. Taking a look at Mitchell Peak, just finishes what he's done, so he's not going to finish any higher than 5th here in qualifying. Robert Hartley is another one currently on his last lap. As we're on board with Edgar Cecinelli drifting his MX-5. That's exactly what he's doing. What if he realizes we're on board with him? He probably doesn't realize as he's now on the front straight, just doing donuts.
Speaking
hope
of,
they don't have the high scrutiny turned on for qualifying.
drivers without time. Tony Kernan is one of the few drivers with no time, and he's looking to set at least one of them. As he comes out of the final corner, clipping the curb there on the exit, all good, and on the start-finish line. Let's see where he's going to slot. And P19. So
yeah, a little lower than where we've seen
Tony.
Tony this year has been solidly in the top 10 and even up into the podiums in our other series. But we do expect a little bit more. Again, that's only his first lap in the book, so maybe he'll be able to pick up the pace. But with only 5 minutes left of qualifying, I don't know if he's going to get all 4 of his laps.
Don't know if this lap from Jeff Jacobs is a valid lap or not. Unfortunately, we have no way of knowing this. Okay, it's not a valid lap because he's entering the pits, and I think basically the only one that still has a chance at a competitive lap is Tony Kernan. So let's jump on board with him as he goes through the S's. I mean, I say beautiful portion of the racetrack, but there isn't really a bad portion of this racetrack, you know?
It is very picturesque with just those tree lines all the way around the outside, just enough elevation change to make these apexes tough to see past for a driver's perspective. And it really is just a beautifully laid out site. There's a nice little pitch of the car, a little drift, climb those curbs. Tony now, this part of the track to me is just so tough. It dips down, rises back up, and then you're just in this long, never-ending right-hander that just takes a little speed off all the way through it as you come through 14 and then flick the car through 15 as it dips through the apex and onto the front straight. We'll see if Tony Kernan's able to improve, get ahead of that 20th spot he's currently in. He does, up to 16th. Still, though, with 2 laps to go, if he can get them in before the time runs out.
Yeah.
He might be able to just to do it. It's going to be close.
This is, of course, a single car qualifying session. Therefore, the moment that clocks hits 15, the drivers are going to be kicked out of the racetrack. There is no like extra time to finish your lap. At 15, it's over. So he needs to be quick. We are lapping around the 138, at least for him. So he should have time to do another one, and he's improving again on his personal best. He's now, up to 16th, but still last of the ST Pro drivers. So certainly, I'm sure he'd want another place. And while we were talking, McDam gave a little bit of a touch-up to his pole position lap. Now 137.370. So, he was on pole already, but, he got another, insurance policy, so to speak, on his first position.
Yeah, and it's never a bad thing to go a little quicker, because sometimes if you even if you've already got a pole time in the first lap, you keep going, you might learn a little something. The car might feel a little bit differently. You might be able to figure out one more little corner that'll help you at some point in the race. So I never turn down free laps in qualifying. I run till the track goes 0 and they kick me out to qualify or to start the grid.
Another thing that's very important, of course, given that this is the final round of the season, as Tony Kernan comes on the start-finish line once again, up to 13th, so he's not last anymore, and now he's in front of the ST Open leader, so good for him. This will leave only poor Randall McGrew in amidst the red-colored cars. Given that this is the final round of the season, we have had a chat with the organizer Kevin Ford, and just as I was about to say this, he just messaged me to tell me the same thing, so probably we are on the same wavelength. He sent me a private message as of this moment that we are going to have the unofficial results, the standings, unofficial standings at the very end of the race, basically. So we will know unofficially the results of the championship.
Yeah, the administrators here, if you haven't been following along with the Extreme Motorsports, the Ricmotech series, these guys are some of the best administrators I've seen as far as how they operate this league. And one of the things they're great at is getting those season points up to date right away. And they did this at the end of season 17 a few months ago. And it's great to see that they're going to do that again tonight for us. So we will know just shortly after the checker flies who, in fact, our champions and podium finishers in the season will be. And that's great because then we have an opportunity to maybe even interview a couple of those finishers, even if they're not necessarily the finishers of the race. Be able to at least congratulate them on their championships here tonight. So looking forward to that. As it looks like Tony Kernan has peeled off his last lap and heads back to the pits.
Yes, we are just waiting basically for the clock to reach 15. So just 30 seconds away from the end of qualifying, and we will display the results to you. Of course, as per usual, the drivers have been instructed for a start zone to respect when the race will begin. So the green flag that will be showed by iRacing is not going to be necessarily the green flag of the race as per usual. And here we go, 1 second and 15. So let's give
right.
you the starting grid for tonight's season finale. Here we go.
And again, here because they're all MX5s, they're going to be intermixed between the Open and Pros. But we'll start out, of course, who's on pole tonight? Mike Dam, the Canadian, laying down the 137.3 to take that pole. He's on the front row. On the inside, on the outside, will be Elvis Rankin, your series points leader from Apex Racing Team. Those two will pair up on the front row. Row 2 on the inside is going to be esports racer Zach Burke, also the Canadian there. And on his outside, John Allen in the Define Auto Works outfit. He'll be on the outside of row 2. Row 3, Robert Hartley out of Orion Racing. He'll be lined up alongside esports racers Mitchell Peak. In row 4, another Orion Racing driver, Travis Schwenke, who we did see was quick in practice. Maybe he's got some moves he's saving for us here in the race. He'll be lined up alongside on row 4 with Greg Mack, an esports racer there on row 4. Row 5 on the inside is going to be Tom Rathke in the Granite State Racing on the inside. Outside of him is going to be Jordy Fike in the eSport Racer. On row 6, Jeff Jacobs, the StreetSurvival.org outfit, and he'll be alongside the D2D Esports Chris Thorman. We get to row 7. We've got Tony Kernan on the inside, the Kernan Motorsports. He'll be alongside our ST Open pole sitter, Brennan Horan, in the Esports Racer team. On row 8, Josh Soto, another one of our open class racers from the Soto Racing. He's on the inside of row 8 alongside Randall McGrew in the Genesis SimSport. Row 9, Jeff Cranston in the Craney Customs Racing. He'll be alongside Greg Brockway, Esport Racer team. On row 10, Edgar Sancinelli in the Frito Sport Racing team. He'll be alongside Nick Parsono in the NAP Motorsports. Row 11, Dean Dibdahl, Dibdahl Racing, of course. On the outside will be the other Frito Sport Racing driver, Michael Key. And on the last row, Derek Holland of Indy Autosport will be lined up. And although it says Kevin Ford, I don't think he's racing tonight. I think he's going to be one of our administrators here, just shown on the screen. So with that, Marco, we're going to have as you mentioned, the start zone is really what defines it by the administrators and the league leaders that do leave it in the hands of the pole sitter. And we've seen penalties issued for drivers either leaving their lane or jumping the start. So very critical that everyone knows the procedure here as we start their warm-up lap.
Absolutely. And, rolling starts can be very, very difficult and a moment of chaos. And everyone, of course, will try to get an advantage. So to have, in iRacing, rolling starts in official races are a bit of a trouble spot because, of course, they tend to follow the oval rule book. It's not really like the sports car rule book, and so it's basically the Wild West. So it's important to have some guidelines, let's say, to follow. And see, the drivers are now in single file. They will form 2 by 2 towards the latter part of the lap, and we can have a another beautiful tour of this amazing racetrack. Let's look from high above as they enter. I mean, they just went past the big passing spot of the racetrack, but this is a racetrack, I think, Larry, that there might be only one passing opportunity, but there are plenty of places where you can force your opponent into making a mistake.
Absolutely, yeah. You can definitely get alongside and force someone to make a decision of how they're going to try and block or hold you off. And I think we're going to see a lot of that, especially in the middle part of this race, or certainly in the middle of the pack of this race, that you're going to see some of that. What worries me is going into those S's on the opening lap. Everyone wants to pick up a couple of spots. The question will be who can come out of there clean, and who's going to come out of there maybe on their way on the toe to the pits. So as they line themselves up side by side, of course, it'll be Mike Dam, pole sitter, gets to control the field. Elvis Rankin on his outside. As they make their way up and around through turns 12, 13. Finally, they'll go through that decreasing radius 14 and onto the front straight 15 as Elvis has got himself parked right alongside his former teammates, actually, Elvis Rankin and Mike Dam. I can hear the administrator, the steward of the race, coaching them to how to tighten the field up. One more corner, and we will go green for 60 minutes of MX5 Cup racing to wrap up the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series finale of season 18. And we are green as Mike Dam gets a nose ahead of Elvis Rankin as they head down towards turn 1. Behind him, John Allen's got just a nose ahead of Zach Burke. Can he hold it through 1 as they head towards 2? He does. So John Allen picks up a spot. Zach Burke slots in behind him. Behind them, it's going to be Robert Hartley and Mitchell Peak. Now poking down the inside and trying to get around Travis Schwenke. Lots of single file now as they come up onto this middle straight out of turn 4 and down towards the dip at turn 5.
Here comes Rankin on the inside of the hairpin. Can he make it stick?
He does. Great move for Elvis Rankin to take that. And right behind him, John Allen's going to try and draft up and see if he can also get past Mike Dam. But that's going to be a tough ask here going into the S's at 7A and 7B all the way into this turn 8 section. Yeah, they thought smarter of it. Back to single file. This is not the place to go side by side. Not on lap 1. Mike Dam wants that spot back. He's right up on the bumper of Elvis Rankin. So far, relatively clean start up and down the pack. Mike Dam almost pushing Elvis Rankin and John Allen wanting to get through there, but Mike Dam making sure there's none of that. But down the ranks a little bit as Tony Cernan's lost a couple of spots. He's now finding himself behind Brennan Horan and Josh Soto, the 2 leaders in the ST Open class, as our leaders overall, Elvis Rankin comes off turn 15, who lead the first lap over Mike Dam, John Allen, Zach Burke, and Robert Hartley. A couple of shakeups on lap 1. Now we can see who's got the guts to make a pass stick as we go again through this downhill through 1 and then back up through this long turn 2 and turn 3 complex.
Nothing has changed in the open class. Who run in front of Soto. As the drivers, I think everyone has had a very, very clean first lap. The beautiful thing about this car is that it loves to draft, and so it's not a big straight here to the hairpin, but as you can see, the drivers can and will make it work.
They are definitely trying everything. As you can see now up on the inside there, I believe that's Zach Burke holding off the charge there from Hartley and Peak, his teammates. They always got these teammates up in there with Hartley and Mike Dam being teammates. Of course, Burke and Peak are teammates. John Allen and Elvis Rankin, the 2 lone representatives of their respective teams up here in this top 6.
Let me say a big shout out to MX5 legend Bobby Childs, who of course does all the beautiful decal work and organizes delivery for this championship. A bit sad that he's not racing tonight, but you know, I don't do Ricmotech very often, so he's my favorite driver, and to have him not race, it's a bit of a disappointment, but he's in the chat, so I'm very happy for that.
Yes, we've had Bobby Childs actually joined us to chat in the middle of a race just a few weeks ago at one of the rounds at Mid-Ohio. I think it was in our classic, in our sports car series after he had a unfortunate early exit, but he decided to join us in the broadcast booth for a few seconds and talk a little bit. Fun guy, Bobby, and definitely want to get him back here for some in-race commentary at some point. But tonight, I don't think we're going to have time. It's going to be pretty exciting.
Oh, dear!
See a lot of this. John Allen a little wide. Zach Burke once passed John Allen in a bad way. You can see he's trying different lines. Burke now going to try and tuck on the inside and get a run all the way down to 5. Burke on the outside. And there's grip out there. If he can get side by side with him through it, as Rankin also looks like he's going to get passed by Mike Dam. And now it's Hartley alongside Burke.
And Rankin really chopped Allen's nose off there coming out of the hairpin. He was so focused, I think, on getting, a bit of a mistake from Dam there, cutting a lot of the grass. Hopefully he doesn't get a slowdown. Seems to be everything okay for him, but that was a very, very sketchy moment after taking the lead. As you can see, once again, Burke making himself big in Allen mirrors, but so far there is no way through for him. But look how close they are. They are actually, now we have we have 3 duos basically, even though, I mean, they are still very, very close to each other. And first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth, but also Travis Schwenke is also very, very close, as we have a trouble for Cernan. He is proceeding slowly and out of the appropriate racing line. I saw him drop a few spots, so let's see what happened to him.
And a quick replay on that as we're on board now, watching Kernan coming down, trying to make that chicane go side by side there with the 67 of Randall McGrew. It looks like Kernan gets the worst of that as McGrew is able to continue, but Kernan able to save it. Definitely losing 5-6 positions there. He's now back down to 19th overall. As we go back front now, still Mike Dam leading, Elvis Rankin. John Allen now just tucked in. These top 8 are just 2.5 seconds covering 8 positions. It's just insane. Take a look back at our ST Open. There's Brennan Horan just holding off his chief rival, Josh Soto. Very strong tonight.
I have to say, Brennan looking absolutely fantastic in that picture. Very classy.
He's one of the good profile pictures. Actually put a suit on for his photo, so we appreciate that. If you ever saw my profile picture, it's not exactly the same thing. The hat and wig that I'm wearing doesn't really look like a professional. So Brennan looking like he's ready to go to an awards banquet and be handed a championship or something with that kind of suit on. This Rankin just going to sit behind Mike Dam for a while. Now these guys at one point were teammates, but even when they were teammates, they would fight just door to door, mirror to mirror for an entire race. And then when they split up now with, Mike Dam still with the Orion Racing, and of course Elvis Rankin with the Apex Racing Group. These guys now are just rivals from different teams, but the racing is definitely just as good. As you can see, Elvis just right up under that rear bumper of Mike Dam as they go through 1 up into 2, and Elvis just trying to poke his nose in there. Trying to get a better run if he can and see if he can put himself alongside Mike Dam going into 5. Behind him, though, they've got a little bit of daylight to John Allen and to Zach Burke.
You're right, they're starting to get a little bit of a gap, not much, and as you can see on the straight, it gets quickly covered by the following pack, but so far I've seen that every time the guy in second place has made a move on the inside of the hairpin, the guy that was in the lead let him, quote-unquote, let him pass, but I think they are driving with their heads, looking forward to the end of the race. No need to get into a collision, so early in the proceedings.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. With an hour-long race and you're only, 5 laps into this, probably not a good idea to just throw it away. But, I've seen this before. John Allen, he's told us he gets bored sometimes running in long packs. I don't know if this track is boring at all. It doesn't appear to be, but he doesn't like running a pack for too long. But I can tell you, Zach Burke, who's right behind John Allen, really is racy tonight. He hasn't made the pass yet, but he definitely looks like he wants to. He just keeps sticking his nose in all over the back of him to fill in the mirrors, as you mentioned, of John Allen. Zach Burke eagerly wants it. We've seen him as well at times race his way to the front and control the races. So I think he's trying to get there tonight and see if he can make it by here. John Allen, good move. He might have enough for Zach Burke. Slots in behind though.
Yeah, it seemed like he had good speed for the overlap coming out of the final corner, even though, of course, this first corner not exactly a passing spot, but you can really set up, an attack at the hairpin. But now, Hartley is incredibly close, and so is Peak, and so is everyone else. That little gap, very, very small gap that Rankin and Dammit pulled over 3rd and 4th, etc., has all but vanished as they keep single file as they go through the hairpin once again. And let's check back with our open class, because wow, that was great timing for once in my career. Pass for the lead.
Pass for the lead there in the open classes. Josh Soto goes down the inside of Brennan Horan. Good battle there. And he must have gained a little ground, because last time we checked in on Brennan, he had a couple of car lengths on Josh. Josh able to make that up now and get by for the 13th overall in first place now in the open class, as these guys finally get to see them nose to tail. In this open class, you don't always, because they don't start together. They often start quite separate, so it's really kind of neat to see the two of them actually coming together and racing door to door here on the track together at the same time.
3rd place in class 14 Deepdal, which I know from the WKA association races, and he's been very, very quick in that, and I think he also made an appearance in the Road to Indy series thanks to his performance in that particular championship. As we go back on the start-finish line, and still Mike Dunn, Elvis Rankin, John Allen, Zach Burke, Robert Utley, Mitchell Peak, so close to each other. As we have a car in the pits, it's Greg Brockway. Very early, very early.
That's extremely early. We were expecting that the pit window will be a pit tonight for everybody, but the pit window really wouldn't be available till about lap 12. We're only about halfway there, so whatever's going on there with Greg, we'll have to wait and see. But out in the front, Mike Dam, it's just a bunch behind him. You look at this train here of this top 7 drivers within 1.7 seconds from the lead. It's just an amazing little train. But the last car in that train seems to always struggle to hang on, and it's really a question of physics and aerodynamics. The last car has got a pull from the one in front of them, but doesn't get the push from behind. And if they really aren't able to make a pass or just stick right in the bumper of the spot in front of them, they tend to lose ground slowly and eventually fade. And usually that's how these packs start to break up. Right now, that man on the bubble is Travis Schwenke. As you got the shot on him right now, and at number 16, he's one of our Orion racers, trying to stay right in the back of Mitchell Peak for that 6th spot. But Schwenke, got to stay close if you want that draft to stay strong. Otherwise, you start to lose ground quickly.
Brendan Horan went a bit wide there, as I think they are closing in on Jeff Jacobs there at the front. Let's see.
Jeff Jacobs, who we always, every night, whether it's in the World Challenge Series, whether it's in the sports car or here in the Classic Sprints, Jeff Jacobs always in the middle of a battle somewhere. And they say it every week, he drives one of the widest cars in the field. Always a tough pass. Clean, but tough to get around. Jeff Jacobs, as he's got the line now going through 2. Josh Soto wants by him quickly and urgently, but I don't know if he's going to get there. He's going to have to really make a tough move to get by the veteran Jeff Jacobs. Has slowed down in front of him there. That Rafferty, I think, in the 41, probably serving a slowdown. Really caught the whole pack.
They need to now sort themselves out as they get through the hairpin. Now 3 wide.
Because that's Chris Thorman going wide in the grass there, coming on the outside. He kind of got the worst of all that. What did happen, though, is both Brendan Horan and Josh Soto got around Jeff Jacobs. As you can see them now, this is up in the front now.
Yeah, Burke went past Allen while we were watching that scrap there.
Yeah, because there he is on the inside, finally able to make that inside move. John Allen, no way to defend. We'll kind of keep our eye on that as we flash back to Jeff Jacobs. Yeah, so Jeff was the one that kind of got the worst of that whole mix there. He kind of lifted as Horan and Soto went by, and now it's looks like Soto trying to get around Jordy Fike for that 9th overall. Again, we've seen this out of Soto. He mixes it up in the pro class, seems like every week. Is that a flicker from our leader, Mike Dam?
Yeah, okay, so it was not, I thought it was my system, but no, Mike Dam is
that's not good, as he's disappeared again from the graphics, losing his signal. We may have just lost connection with Mike Dam.
Oh, he's parking the car. He's moving out of the way. Very respectful.
Yeah.
And that is less than ideal, I have to say.
Yeah, and we appreciate that sportsmanship, recognizing that being the blinking car out front is not a good thing for everyone behind him. So luckily he's continuing, but yeah, that could have been. We've seen this before. It's sim racing, the one thing you got to watch out for is your data connectivity. And for Mike, it's not being his friend tonight, but maybe he can stay in that front pack and have a shot later on.
Oh, careful here! Contact!
As Jordy Fike a little bit out of control, trying to defend on the inside. Is Josh Soto able to make his way around, and Brendan Horan also gets through, as these two rivals are now sitting in 9th and 10th ahead of this pack, but it's not over yet.
And Larry, out of it is you are fighting for the class lead, but in the meantime you have to battle. Oh, here we go!
Contact, and that's Fike with Jeff Jacobs coming through there. Fike was a little bit offline. Jacobs nowhere to go. Stewards, I'm sure, will take a look at that. As you can see them now on the replay, coming into 7. Fike on the inside, Jacobs right behind him. And it's Jacobs all the way. Unfortunately, Jacobs, then he got a little help from Rafferty behind him, but Jacobs, he definitely the one that caused that as they went in there deep. And they gave a little bump to Jordy Fike. They're able to continue, but not after losing a lot of track position. Wow, Chris Thorman, a big hit to the wall and around, and he's out. As we see him now coming through, I think it's the chicane on that back straight up towards turn 11, I believe. Yes, it is. Does he get a nudge?
Must be an hardware failure, I think. He went straight on.
Ouch for Thorman. That's unfortunate for him.
See from the chopper, I didn't see any contact, but we were from a very, very far away camera.
Yeah, something going wrong there. You can definitely tell Meta lost his wheel or something, because the car just continues to go straight and bang to the wall. Thorman's night is over. As we've seen some excitement of the weird kinds here with the blinking signal there for Mike Dam, and now Chris Thorman seems to have some kind of hardware failure. Could be that kind of night here. We had the thunderstorms rolling through parts of our drivers across the U.S. in the last couple weeks. I don't know if that's happening again tonight, but let's hope not. As Elvis Rankin now with Zach Burke, who we saw was racy trying to get around Allen. He finally does. Now Zach Burke has just one car in front of him with Mike Dam shuffling back to 7th. See if Burke is going to put the pressure on Elvis Rankin now and try to make a move. Just love him throwing across those curves and the car just two-wheeling.
I know our regular broadcaster, Dennis Branch, of course, is out of commission tonight because of bad weather problems in his area. I was looking at the broadcaster notes earlier, and the pit window should open at lap 12, on lap 12, so...
I think we've had a slowdown penalty for Rankin.
Yeah.
He looks like he's serving a penalty, and hopefully for him, it's only going to cost him one spot as Zach Burke jumps on the opportunity to take the lead into turn 1. Elvis, if you're going to have to serve a penalty, that's about the best you could do to only lose one position.
So, going back to what I was saying, whoever stopped before, now and of course the next lap, will have to stop again. So the drivers we saw stop earlier, for example, Brockway, who's still running around as you can see here, but he will have to stop again too early. Pit window will open at the end of lap 12 and will, close. It's not like they will close it.
Fuel.
Yeah, right. You will run exactly. Thank you for helping me with the words. At the end of lap 25, and we are expected around 37 laps tonight, so you get the idea.
And that's what makes it a race like this interesting to me, is when you get a pack of these cars together, it gives an opportunity for the guys running in 3rd and 4th to maybe just sort of coast a little bit under braking, maybe short shift, try to save a little bit of fuel, and try to undercut the other guys. One of the drivers we always see try this is John Allen, and we haven't seen him other than the turn 1, lap 1, where he was able to get by Zach Burke. Now he's given up the position, and he doesn't really look racy like he wants to get back there. I do wonder if he's trying to save some fuel. Another one, Robert Hartley, sitting back there in 4th, could be maybe on a bit of a fuel save strategy. Be interesting to see when we do get to that pit window, who dives in and who goes for the long haul and try to make the over or undercut throughout the race.
And of course, we also have the idea, we have the... as Rankin goes on the inside, tries to take back the lead at the long right-hander. Can he make it stick? I think he can. They are side by side. But now he will have the outside of the hairpin, so not the preferred line. Burke should be able to keep the position as they might go 3 wide, and they go.
I was watching John Allen shuffle for position back there, trying to figure out which way he wanted to go with the two of them sort of roadblocking in front of him. He thought maybe he could move on the inside, unable to. In fact, it seems to have cost him a position now as Hartley ducks inside. But yeah, as those two guys went side by side, Burke and Rankin, they kind of knew what they were doing, and I guess John Allen figured what a good opportunity to try and jump in. Unfortunately for him, it didn't work. For Zach Burke, it does mean he's able to hold that position as he just about threw it away going to turn 2 as Rankin had the run, but Burke able to maintain in the top position. It was John Allen that gets the worst of that whole mix.
As we say, the question of the tire change, rarely the drivers take 4 tires. They usually do the 2 tire stop or no stop, but no tire change at all. So we'll have to look at that, of course, when the drivers come to pit road. We'll probably have a hint of that as we see the car go up on the jacks or not. As Mike Dam, pit window is open at the end of lap 12, point in case. Here comes Mike Dam.
Interesting, guys. He's the one that had obviously led the race for quite a while, pole sitter, and struggled with his connection. Maybe feeling now is the best time to come in, just fill to the top with fuel, and go back out there and see what you can do.
I promise you he's somewhere behind this wall. None of our cameras can pick him up. You can follow his pit stop on the bottom of the screen, by the way. So, and on the track map, you see him right now, slightly transparent. As
Rankin makes a move down the inside as they go towards 5, and Burke kind of lets him, as you mentioned earlier. Some of these guys not always challenging, just kind of letting them go with the flow. And now, of course, Hartley wants a piece of that action. It's bump drafting down the straight after 6 into turn 7. And it may have worked for Burke as he was able to push Rankin just enough. There's a little bit of a bump there, I think, from behind from Hartley. May have just tapped Burke under braking there. Able to continue, though.
So Mike Dam is out of the pits in P18 in a bit of traffic, unfortunately for him.
So, you know, pitting early in a race like this where passing is tough, even when you're just trying to get around lap traffic, I worry about can you run the pace of the front runners when you're fighting through traffic, you know, by taking yourself out of that mix. I don't know how often a strategy like this can work for a driver like Mike Dam.
Here comes Schwenke for his pit stop. And you can see Mike Dam.
There he is. Heading around Michael Key. Michael Key not making it easy. He does not have to move over. There is no blue flag involved here. Remember, Dam did take his pits, so Michael Key's got every right to that track. Mike Dam able to make it stick, but that's what I was talking about. You go out there, now you got to fight your way through traffic, and every lap that you lose a half a second to somebody is a half a second behind the leaders, who right now aren't losing any time.
And Mike spent around 58 seconds in the pit lane, as Robert Hartley has a problem.
Well, this is really whittling down our lead pack. We saw Dam come in, we saw Schwenke come in, and then we saw Hartley going out, kind of in not exactly the pits, as he comes down here onto this straightaway towards turn 5. He might have just gotten the brakes a bit too late, and he does, and goes just flying by him. I think his brake lights came on after Burke's brake lights in front of him, and that's never a good sign when you're in a pack.
You know, as they say, brake when the car in front brakes, not where the car in front brakes, you know, when you're in a pack.
Yes,
so.
Exactly, yeah. Dibdall, and I believe that's Randall McGrew he's battling with back there. As our Brennan Horan and Josh Soto continue their battle. Last we had checked in, Soto was just ahead of Horan, and now it's the other way around. These guys are now up to 7th and 8th with a couple of pit stops happening around them. Wide for Brennan Horan, but he's able to recover. Nice save. Like he meant to do it.
That was very sketchy, and he's able to keep the lead. But by the way, John Allen also is in the pits right now. So the lead pack, slowly but surely, they are all coming in. Randall McGrew also is in, as the two ST Open leaders decide to stay out for the time being.
Very early with the pack coming in for the pits, and I'm just shocked here, especially with John Allen. My only thought about Allen is maybe he's thinking he can come out with Mike Dam, and maybe the two of them can work together. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out when he comes out of the pits. But the Brennan Horan and Josh Soto battle, this might be our best battle on the track. I know the lead's still between Rankin and Burke on the overall, but this lead here in the open class has been pretty exciting as they've worked their way through traffic. See
Soto moving left and right in the braking area. You know, the STO Pro leaders are being very methodical in their passing each other for the lead, but Horan and Soto, as you were saying, they are having to push their elbows out in the middle of the back end, in the back end of the ST Pro group, and they have to take some big risk so far. So let's see if they are going to pit together, as saw the gap go down a bit quickly between Rankin and Burke as they were heading into the final portion of the racetrack. Let's see if they will go into pit road.
And
yes,
they do together.
Everyone.
There you go. All three of them, Mitchell Peak included. As Hartley now is the only one of the front group that hasn't pit. He will resume the lead here with Greg Mack, the eSport racer, now going to probably come across the line and take over the second spot. So it'll be Hartley and Mack 1-2 as we keep our eye on Elvis Rankin now in for his pit stop. Right behind him, of course, is Mitchell Peak, or excuse me, is I think that is Zach Burke right behind him as they're taking left side tires, as I would expect on a track like this. With a fuel stop, it's almost like taking free tires.
Also, the two ST Open leaders are in now.
Keep our eye on them as well as, oh no, Soto may have missed his pit box. That's going to cost him some time. But I'm seeing right side tires going on the car for Brennan Horan, so maybe he'll make it up in the stop there for Josh Soto. Big mistake though.
I don't know why he's now
like...
he has jumped in the front at the front of the pack, Soto, for some reason. Now he's out. So Hartley, Mack, Deepdal, Sanchinelli, and Elvis. Okay, now he's back to where he should be. So the timing loop went for a loop, I should say. There.
Yeah, let that all sort itself out. But certainly we can definitely see Elvis and Burke, followed by John Allen and Mike Dam right back up in there. So Mike Dam able to stay right in this mix with this top three. As Horan able to get out of the pits a couple seconds ahead of Josh Soto, so Soto's got to work his way back through a few other drivers. Horan currently running 13th overall, but currently 4th in the ST Open, but some of the other drivers have not pit yet, so we'll see where they come out. That whole turn 7-8 section, the S's down that hill, to me is just one of the hardest corners because you've got to really attack those curbs, but it's blind. You can't see where the braking point is. You come around the crest for 7 and 7A, and these guys doing it lap after lap. It just scares me every time whenever I see them go plummeting down across these curbs, bounding away.
See, 5 seconds the gap between 4th and 5th right now, which is the battle for the effective lead in the ST Open class. Let's go back to the overall standings. There they are. And so basically only the top 2 drivers have to pit.
Keep our eye on them as it looks like Schwenke and Peak are just clinging to the back of that front pack to get that whole group of 7 back together. But Allen and Dam have definitely caught back up. You can see right in front of them is Burke and Rankin. So really for Mike Dam, this has just kind of been a bit of a sigh of relief. He's made it this far. As we recall, he had that issue with his connection, even gave up the lead position, pushed himself back to 7th, still connected. Everything seems to be okay. And so for him, he's all kind of on borrowed time tonight.
Yeah, that was, usually when you see a car blink like that and then disappear for that big of a period of time, usually it means it's game over.
As Hartley dives to the pit lane.
Him. Yep, there is, again, I promise you, he's somewhere.
He'll be in there and see how close he can remain to the lead
someone's
back.
Engine has gone.
It looks like Greg Rockway, if I'm not mistaken, maybe? Who that was, we'll get back to that in a minute. As his lead group, John Allen, Mike Dam, trying to stay with Elvis Rankin and Zach Burke. We'll keep our eye on Hartley when he comes out of the pits if he's able to get anywhere near this group, although he's the one that had that bit of an off in turn 5 before this whole pit exchange happened. So he's going to come out, but I suspect he'll be down just a little bit from that front group.
Fastest lap of the race for Rankin, immediately overtaken by Burke in that department, 1:37.37, which I think was the pole position lap, by the way.
They are flying around this place.
Speaking of which, let's check in with the weatherman. There we go.
Alabama weather.
I think we have, metric units for some reason in the project file.
Yeah, I don't know if the folks in Alabama know the metric conversions so much, but 27C puts you probably right around 80-something degrees Fahrenheit. So a nice warm day here as the sun's going down a little bit here in Alabama. But no rain in the forecast. Nice, beautiful day. As they don't have rain yet in the iRacing platform. But won't that be interesting when it gets there? But for now, it's warm and dry, and our 2 leaders are just inching away. Elvis Rankin leads over Zach Burke, the top two with John Allen, Mike Dam, Travis Schwenke sort of giving chase, but they're fading just a little bit.
And Dean Deepdall is probably pushing all the way to the end of the fuel window or something, because he doesn't seem to want to stop.
Yeah, it's one of those strategy things. He's got no one around him, no one to interrupt him. May as well just keep turning laps. And recording a leading of the race lap as well isn't a bad thing. He'll get the bonus point for that. If he doesn't have enough bonus points in the season, he'll be able to get this one. Lots of bonus points handed out throughout the season. There's a cap on how many bonus points you can earn, but things like pole position, things like leading a lap, clean races, they're all worth bonus points here in the Ricmotech series. And as we look at John Allen and Mike Dam, kind of fighting a little bit, but these guys need to fight less and work together more, because they've got to work about 2 seconds ahead to find Elvis Rankin and Zach Burke. Schwenke now looks racy on the inside of teammate Mike Dam. All go together, a little one by one through the downhill S's. Try and dig deep, get on the power early through this on-camber corner, turn 8, and head up the longest straightaway of the track. No lift through the 9-10 chicane and all the way up to turn 11. These guys are just flying. This is the best spot to draft. But once you get there, it's one thing to get alongside. It's another to make the pass, because going in through 11 and then through the 12, 13, 14 complex, it just goes up the hill and then back down the hill. It's like a little roller coaster. And then finally back up the hill again for turns 14 and make the turn down towards 15. But again, they're losing pace as Zach Burke and, as John Allen and Mike Dam losing pace by about a half a second a lap to Rankin and Burke.
All right, let's get back to how the graphics were before. I was working for you in the background to get the proper units on the broadcast.
Oh, look at this. Marco working overtime now. Even we're getting at his metric to English conversion now on the units. So
let's get also the track map to the way it was before. Okay, this is better. The gaps are very important. And if we go to the weatherman, look at that.
Look at it. Right on 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temp at 88 degrees. Beautiful night for racing here in Alabama, Barber Motorsports Park. Now, I'll tell you what, while we have a minute, why don't we take a short break, check with our sponsors, and we will come right back for the last part of this race. You're watching Apex Racing TV and the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series. We will be right back.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Welcome back to the Classic Sprint Series here in the Ricmotech Series. We are live at Barber Motorsports Park, 21 laps in, about 35 minutes to our 60-minute scheduled time. And just as you joined us, back from commercial break, Dean Dibdahl heads to the pits from the lead. Actually, doesn't quite lead at the pits. Instead, he's given the lead to Elvis Rankin and Zach Burke. Dibdahl stays out there, though, still sniffing fumes there in his MX-5. But behind them all, it's this pack now led by Mike Dan, who just took over for John Allen, who decides to put 2 tires in the grass coming off of turn 1. Mike Dam, John Allen, Travis Schwenke, Mitchell Peak, Robert Hartley, somewhere back behind them, about 3 seconds further behind. But this pack of 4, led right now by Dam, is trying to catch Rankin and Burke, and it has not gone well. Meanwhile, Brennan Horan is still holding on to about a 4-second advantage over Josh Soto. These 2 guys rivals in the ST Open class. Horan had the better pit stop. And so Soto, with his trouble in the pits, has given himself a bit of a gap there. He's got to make back up, and I don't know if he's going to be able to. He's got about 25 minutes left to do that here in this race to try and take another win in the Open class right now. Brennan Horan, your leader in that. But in the pro ranks, the overall, Zach Burke seems to, Marco, it seems like Zach has really kind of settled in, although he's putting himself alongside now, but for a while here, he hasn't really seemed to be close enough to pressure. Just as I say that, here he is.
Yeah, and they are keeping this gap, maybe increasing it a bit. Without maybe, they are increasing it a bit over Mike Dam and the rest. So certainly it's, you know, moving towards maybe a showdown in the final few minutes of the race. Again, too early to risk. And you know, when the pace is so similar, especially with a car like this, you know, if they know if they fight right now, they are going to lose a lot of time as a Rankin goes very deep in the first corner, and this could throw everything I said down the bin, because Burke might want to make the pass right now. Let's see.
Yeah, Burke may be left with no choice but to pass. He may have been trying to play somewhat patient, but when Rankin has a slow like that for going 4 into the grass, you almost have to. But Rankin able to recover. We saw that recovery earlier by Brennan Horan. We've seen a few people do the same as what Elvis just did there coming off of turn 1, but Elvis able to keep it going, not really lose momentum, and stay ahead of Zach Burke. As we ride on board with Burke now as they head up to the S's. And plummet down these blind S's. And somewhere down there is the last apex of turn 8. How they do it. You can see the pack behind them. Of course, Dean Dibdahl in there in the ST Open class. He has not pit yet, but behind them you can see that string of Mike Dam, John Allen, Travis Schwenke. And there is Mike Dam, number 93. Just trying to do everything he can to not lose sight of Rankin and Burke ahead of him, but with 20 minutes or so left in the race, I don't know that the lead is going to be something he can be fighting for. He may be resorting himself to just fighting for the podium from that pack.
Let's see if now Dibdahl continues. So, as we were saying earlier, the expected run out of fuel lap will be lap 25, so 2 more laps probably for Dibdahl to go. When he pits, he should relinquish the lead of the class to Brennan Horan, considering the drivers lose around a minute or so from pit entry to pit exit, and the gap between the pair of them is around 30 seconds more or less, but still for Horan, very good signal that he is not losing time to Soto behind him. So that little mistake in the pit could have very big ramifications for the ST Open race.
Yeah, absolutely. It separated those two in what had been a great nose-to-tail battle. A lot like what we're seeing right now with Zach Burke and Elvis Rankin. Soto had been swapping positions with Horan for the whole first half of the race. One little glitch there where you go scooting past your pit box, and you can easily throw a few seconds away. And right now, they're about 4 seconds apart, just about the amount of time that Soto lost in the pits. So for Horan, he needs a win here. It'd be great for him to get a win at ST Open. I don't know if it's going to be enough in the overall points, as Soto had a pretty substantial lead. But as we turn back, we're looking at the insides of the Zach Burke car right up on the heel, literally pushing Elvis Rankin along.
And you gotta be careful, because these cars are not very square at the back. They are actually a bit round. So if you, and of course the front of the car is also very round, as you can see. So if you push the wrong way, as Deepdal left for the pits, it can end in tears quite quickly, even though these drivers are so experienced with these cars, so they know what they are doing. So this should again give Uran and Soto back first and second place, and you know it's going to be close between Deepdal and Sanchinelli for the lead for third place, sorry, in ST Open. Considering that I think Deepdal will have a bit of a quicker stop, of course.
I think you're right. I think that's going to put Deepdal right there with Sanchinelli in the ST Open, and Sanchinelli right now is right behind Jeff Jacobs. So, be interesting to see if Sanchinelli, Jacobs, and Dean all come out together here. It's going to be close as they're all coming down the front straight now.
Here comes Deepdal, and Sanchinelli is a mile behind.
Quick stop for Deepdal. I wonder if he didn't take any tires, let alone the two. In fact, he comes out right there with McGrew ahead of Fike and Kernan. The Deepdal.
Now, my maths could have been off, and that's usually the case, huh? But
you know, the problem is you're using that metric math. And just, we're in the U.S. We've got to use this English unit, so we'll forgive you, though. It's okay. As Deepdal now alongside all the way through Turn 5 with Randall McGrew as they go through the kink at 6 and head on down. Who's going to yield as they head towards 7? McGrew's got the nose ahead. Yep, you see Deepdal yield just enough. Not willing to park it next to Randall McGrew. But right behind them, looks like Jordy Fike and Tony Kernan, not far back there. See if Kernan and Fike. Kernan, we've seen have his troubles here tonight. Had an off early in the race. He's been fighting all the way through. Fike had contact also, I think, what was it with Jeff Jacobs, I think it was earlier on. So these guys are definitely fighting to the pack. They might be right here on the heels of Deepdal and McGrew here in the next lap or so. You look out in the front. Elvis Rankin still leading Beck Burke, as now we've got the second train with Hartley right on the heels of Mitchell Peak. That's a pretty wide line there for Hartley.
Yep.
Using all of it and then some.
Did a little bit of lawn mowing there, the number 3. As we get to the SS once again. Bit of a puff of smoke there, someone locking their brakes.
A good run here for Hartley. He's going to get himself alongside, but this is that treacherous kink flat out in these cars. If you're not alongside somebody, you better give yield, because he does. But maybe he'll get the advantage going into 11. He's going to be side by side. Hartley does, and Peak yields. Hartley now takes that spot back up to 6th. Mitchell Peak having to give up that spot. They don't want to lose sight of in front of them Travis Schwenke, the other Orion driver. Now with about a 1 second lead over these two. As Mike Dam seems to put a little bit of daylight between himself and John Allen behind him.
See the comparison? Yeah, you are absolutely correct.
Maybe even out of draft range if you're John Allen, which is unfortunate because you like to rely on that to have a shot here as the race starts to wind down. But Mike Dam able to break that draft, so hard to do in these MX5 Cup cars.
And a crucial thing to do, absolutely, in this kind of racing. If you can break the draft, even in a track like this that's not really draft dependent, it can give you a massive advantage. And we have seen how quickly the guys were able to close with each other when they were, close in a pack on the two straights of this racetrack. But right now you're absolutely correct. It's going to be very, very tough considering we only have 15 minutes left in this race. And the chances to close the gap with the two leaders are very, very slim now for everyone. Even Mike Dam, I think, as you can see from the lap time comparison. He gained a bit in 23 and 24 when they made a couple of mistakes there. But apart from that, he's matching the times as Rankin goes wide once again. Which means, of course, that there is one lap less. and the gap is the same, so advantage to the leaders in this case.
Yeah, one thing to note about Mike Dam is his tires have got a little bit more on them. Remember, he was the first of these leaders to come in, and I think like a lot of them, they probably took those left side tires to help you through turns 2, turns 8, all the way through that 14, 15, or 13, 14 section. But that means his tires have a little bit more on them than everybody else's. So although he's able to maintain pace with Rankin and Burke right now, I don't know for how much longer, and he might actually lose a little bit and fall right back into the hands of Allen and Schwenke as we come down to the last 15 minutes of this race. As McGrew comes
big
in
hit.
contact now with Dibdahl. It's Jordy Fikes in the mix, and now I can see Tony Kernan on the inside using some grass as they come around 14. Too wide through 15 onto the front straight is Dibdahl, and gives Jordy Fike a run, but he's got nowhere to go. He's just got nothing but Miata tails in front of him. It helps push McGrew along. And Kernan back there is just waiting to pounce on Dibdahl.
How did that not become a huge crash? I have no idea.
Skills. These guys have got skills.
Oh man, absolutely. Yeah, Zach Burke, as close as he's ever been.
So as you get down to this point of the race with 14 minutes left, and this place is tough to pass, you've pulled out a 4-second lead over Mike Dam. How long do you wait if you're Zach Burke to get by?
That's a very, very good question. In a perfect world, you would go, ahead right now and pull away. That is not possible, and so, if I was him, which I'm not, and I don't have the skills, etc., I would try and make a move in the last lap. Easier said than done, of course. As we have a crash at the back, there's a car in the wall. That should be.
I'm starting to wonder if that's Randall McGrew.
It is.
Yes, it is. He's right in that pack of 4. He was the one struggling there. You were saying, how did they make it through there without contact? Well, eventually contact came to them. As you got Fike on the inside. McGrew and comes down just a little bit. McGrew ends up being the one. Nice little move all the way to the service drive there, but unfortunately for him, that's going to knock him back a little bit and bring that battle of 4 cars down to 3. But back in front here with Rankin over Zach Burke. I'm a big fan of last lap passes if we're at a place like, Spa, if you're at a place like Road America or Road Atlanta, sure, where you've got these super long straightaways where you can draft and just time your pass. I'm not sure that Barber's one of those places, and I'm more inclined to think you get to within that 10, 12-minute range, and any pass you can make becomes a good pass because it may be the last one Elvis gives you.
As we have no action between the 09 and the 67, one thing that also is interesting to note is that we have not seen a driver close the door at the hairpin tonight, so we don't know if it is possible at all. As I was saying earlier, every time someone went for a move there, the driver in front, especially in the lead pack, was more than happy to let him pass. So we will see now if if push comes to shove, if the leader in this case will try and make life a bit harder, as I'm sure is going to happen, something like along these lines, because of course we are getting closer and closer to the end of the race.
The other thing to think about here is Rankin has been in the lead of this race pretty much in the lead of this pack since they came out of the pits. And earlier on, he was trailing behind Mike Dam. I have not seen, though, Rankin having to chase down Zach Burke at all. Zach Burke's collecting a lot of data sitting here behind Elvis. He knows where he's faster. He knows where he's not. And we got Tony Kernan and Jordy Fike coming together. So Fike involved again. This is at least 3 times tonight. Let's check the replay. They come down through what I believe is turn 13 up to 14. Fike just a little slide on the inside, a little bit of a check. Able to maintain and keep going. That could have been a lot worse.
Yep.
But yeah, as I was saying, it looks like Zach Burke's had plenty of chances to catch, watch the back of Elvis Rankin and collect all the data he can. So if there's a place to make a pass, I'm sure he's figured it out. But for Rankin, if he gets past, I don't know that he's seen how this place goes. I don't think he's seen how Zach Burke can drive and where his strong points are.
Another lap in the books as 10 minutes are now left in this final round of the season Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series. From Barber, as you can see, Rankin in the lead. And what happened to... Oh, something happened to Soto. To Oren, sorry.
You're right, as he had about a 4-second gap on Soto. Now Soto is the one with the advantage. So I don't know if Horan maybe had a slowdown at some point. I don't think he's been in any traffic to speak of. But either way, it's given Josh Soto a chance to get on by. Horan now to 11th on the overall, but more critically, he's only in second now in the ST Open, given that lead up to Josh Soto, who has won so many of these races this year in this class, and right now in a position to win the championship in the ST Open group. But for Horan, he'd love to finish this season on a high, and he was in the position to do that just a few moments ago. Now he's going to fight his way back Soto if he wants to get to the top step of the ST Open. Do we have a replay?
This is how it happened.
It smells of maybe a little bit of slowdown or something coming off at turn 15 for Horan.
We don't know because there is no incident or off track or whatever for Horan, so we have no idea what made him lose such a massive amount of time.
I can only worry maybe just missed a shift or something as simple as that, which sometimes if you can't find the gear, it just sort of comes out of you. But you can see there on the graphic, Horan's been losing ground to Soto the last number of laps. As his tires go away, Soto might be a little quicker on worn tires than Horan, and that has definitely hurt him a little bit. So now Horan's got work to do to stay with and make that pass, try and win the open class. But out in front, the one thing I have noticed is Mike Dam seems to be making pace. Traffic's going to help Mike Dam behind him, that's for sure. That's a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
As my suspicion is that's Brockway, Key, and Holland up there. We're currently 1 minute and 37 seconds down. I think that constitutes a full lap. And for Rankin, he's hoping to make this easy, but these guys are in their own battle. They don't want to give up a spot. As Mike Key, he's there. He'll have to yield for blue flags, but he's certainly not going to make it easy on our leader, Elvis Rankin. As Zach Burke now doesn't want to get caught and let Rankin get by one of them and him not get by the other. So he's going to do everything he can to just glue himself to the back of Rankin's car. And this has helped Mike Dam now within 2.9 seconds of these guys. Of course, Dam will have to get by these guys as well, even once Rankin and Zach Burke do. Getting exciting here, 7.5 minutes to go.
Oh, high-risk moment here.
Very intense as Michael Key giving position a little bit, but not entirely, putting it on the overtaking car to make the move. The number 80 there of Derek Holland lets him go on by. And this has taken another half a second out of this front two from Mike Dam in third. Now that was sketchy, huh?
Yeah, let's see this time around. 0.8 of a second. That's a... Oh, as we have a car in the grass, Michael Kidder back onto the racing surface proper. 7 minutes to go.
All right, so with 7 minutes now counting down, if you're Zach Burke, you've got to think of making that move. He's got to get back up on him because after all, through the traffic, they got a couple of car lengths apart. So now as he comes to turn 5, he's a little bit closer, not quite close enough to make a move. But at some point, he's going to have to, as we're winding down the clock, winding down the number of laps, and he's just going to run out of opportunities if he doesn't take one of these soon. Again, down through the S's. Rankin. It does look like Zach's pretty quick coming off of there. He does get on the gas early. I don't know if he's close enough to make a draft run. Not on this lap. He's certainly staying close. If Zach can be just a little quicker through the S's and 7, just one time is all it's going to take to get a run, maybe make a pass. It's not going to happen this lap. He might be just quick enough to do it on the next one.
Dam goes a bit wide there. I mean, it seems like the preferred line there is, going to the grass a bit and hope for the best.
That Alabama clay has got lots of grip, I guess. You know, they make oval tracks down the south out of their dirt, so why not make road courses out of the dirt too? All right, let's see if Zach Burke can keep the momentum going and get around this turn 3 complex, have a shot. Doesn't look like he's close enough down into the hairpin at 5. If not, he's going to have to try and make a run coming off of 7 with just 5 minutes to go in this race. Opportunities are slowly fading for Zach Burke to have a shot of overtaking for the lead. Although he's right up on his tail this time.
No action between, again, 09. This was, I think, the previous message, 0967, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that would be the Jordy Fike and Randall McGrew incident, where McGrew was the one that went off into the access road. I guess if the offending car ends up taking the bigger of the brunt, maybe they're the ones that doesn't need the penalty. But here you go again. It looks like Zach Burke, again, gets a great run into those S's. He could just make one of them stick a little bit better. He's got to run this time. I don't know if he's going to be enough to put him side by side.
Yes, Oran gets past for the lead in ST Open. Oof.
The lead in both classes right now up for grabs, as Zach Burke is just hounding the back of Elvis Rankin. At the same time, Horan got back Soto. Nothing decided yet in either class here as we get to the last round of the series, round 7 of season 18. Nice, exciting finale here at Barber Motorsports Park on Apex Racing TV, bringing you all the action of all the Ricmotech series. But this one, the MX-5s are always exciting.
By the way, speaking of Oran, I was just reading him in the chat earlier, a few minutes ago, answering to us saying, I didn't make a mistake, I'm just slow. So texting and driving. And he also managed to get back in the lead while texting and driving, which we don't advise you to do. Even in sim racing, it can be very dangerous. But I don't think of anything more distracting than listening to the broadcast while you're doing a race.
Not the most soothing sounds to listen to sometimes. And Brennan, stop listening to us, 2 hands on the wheel, to try to win this ST Open class race here at Barber Motorsports Park. You got enough on your hands with Josh. You don't need to be listening to us. But out in front, Elvis Rankin probably not listening to us, probably listening to his crew chief, if I had to guess. He's got a big team that supports him, and they would help him along every round. And he's going to need all their help right now because he has just got a Zach Burke all over the back of him with probably about 2 laps to go, I'm going to say. As they come up now to turn 11.
So they are lapping. Last lap for ranking was 138.22. So they might have to do 2 more after this.
I think you're right. This should not yet throw the white flag, but I'll tell you what, is Mike Dam is just about sniffing draft at this point. He's 2 seconds behind, or 1.8 seconds behind the second place car in Zach Burke. I don't know if Mike Dam's going to have enough left in the tank to make a move on this, but he's certainly going to make it interesting.
I love the fact, sorry Larry, I noticed that lately iRacing has finally given us the animation of the flagman for spectators. Oh, what happened here? Oh man, they were side by side for a second, Uran and Soto. We'll get back to them because we might have a pass for the lead on the outside. Goes Burke.
If he doesn't get there, he should have a good run getting on the gas early, heading down towards 7. He's just going to run out of real estate. It's a long way around the outside, coming out of 5 into 6. And right now, Elvis has the advantage, but will Zach make it a 2 wide through the S's? That's a dangerous move if he does. But we know that he's been quick through the S's and getting on the gas early. Can he do it this run? He's going to get this lap and probably just 1 more, and they should see white flag next time by as Mike Dam enters the picture. Now just 1 second behind these guys. As Rankin and Burke are battling, Mike Dam is saying, not so fast, guys. I'm here to play. I've got 3 miles left of this track. I'm going to use it if I can. Zach Burke, not this time by, but boy, look at him. Right up under the tail. Any mistake by Rankin is going to yield the lead, if not the entire podium. Zach Burke just ready to pounce.
And this time there is no doubt the white flag will fly and you will see Barney go crazy.
Get a good shot of our flagman here as they come down the front straight and start the final lap of round 7. There he is waving that white flag. This will do it. So if Zach Burke's got any move left in him, like you said earlier, do it on the last lap. He's going to have to now. He doesn't have much choice. And Mike Dam is going to make this a three-way here at about 2 more corners. Zach Burke giving our points leader everything he can handle. Will Burke try again on the outside? Elvis Rankin defending the inside. Burke just enough to fill mirrors, but he wants to get the good run off of this corner. He does get a good run. He's going to try the inside now. As Dam comes up, he's got the big draft. He's got 2 cars in front of him. Burke now on the inside. This is the closest we've seen for him to even attempt to move. Are they going to go side by side this time through the S's? No. Little contact.
Oh!
A lot of contact as Burke now right up under. They are linked. Burke to Rankin coming off of 8. As Mike Dam now is completely in the picture. Anybody's race here with about 4 corners to go. Burke trying to get alongside. Rankin giving him nothing. Just nothing. It's not blocking. It's just positioning. Nowhere to go for Burke as he's pushing Elvis along. I've never seen racing this close. He's got about 2 more corners as they round down the hill, back up to turn 14. They'll make the turn at 14 with 1 more kink to go. And Mike Dam's going to say, man, if I could have gotten here earlier. Little contact again from Burke on Rankin. As we are clean on the front straights. I don't think it's going to be enough for Mike Dam. He's going to try to get on by for second, but it's going to be Elvis Rankin taking the win. Followed very closely by Zach Burke and Mike Dam, second and third. That's our pro class. But here in the open class, Brendan Horan leads Josh Soto. Soto the points leader. Horan in second in the points. Horan would love to go out of the season with a victory, but so would Josh Soto. As they again, just like the last pack of the leaders of the overall, Horan and Soto, nose to tail for the final time. Heading up through turn 11 and to 12. Can Soto stick his nose in anywhere? Does he have anything left for these 2 more corners? Or is it going to be a Brendan Horan victory here in ST Open? Tight line. Look at the defensive line for Horan. Smart move there to get the run off of 15. Soto's got to run. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though, to catch him by the flag. As Brendan Horan looks like he will take the win in ST Open, followed so closely by Josh Soto. And I believe it's going to be Dean Dibdahl maybe for third as he's in a other class battle there with McGrew. Lets McGrew on by. As Dibdahl's back there, as you've got Tony Kernan in the mix there. Dibdahl does take third in the ST Open class. And then you can see down the list there, McGrew, Kernan, Sentinelli, Fike, Jacobs. What a finish here at Barber Motorsports Park. Wow, what a race. Rankin, Burke, and Dam at the front. Horan holding off his rival Soto there to wind up the ST Open. So with that, tell you what, why don't we catch our breath, take a short break, and come right back with interviews here at the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series. You're watching Apex Racing.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts, Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go. Ricmotech.com.
And we are back at Barber Motorsports Park. We just closed up another exciting round of the Classic Sprint Series from Ricmotech, presented by Performa Elite Texas Graphics. There's a car on fire in the pit lanes, and what a finish it was. Taking a look at the ST Pro overall race win went to Elvis Rankin, and so close there, just ahead of Zach Burke and Mike Dam, who really made a run there at the end to come up on the podium there in that third spot. In fourth, John Allen, followed closely by Travis Schwenke. And you got Robert Hartley in sixth, Mitchell Peak in seventh, Greg Mack in eighth, Randall McGrew in ninth, and Tony Kernan in 10th. They're in the ST Pro. If we take a look at the ST Open class for this round, taking the win, Brennan Horan taking the win there just ahead of Fine Racing there to make the pass near the end and hold off Josh Soto for second. So Horan in first, Soto in second. Dean Dibdahl takes third with that great late pit strategy. In fourth, coming home today, is Edgar Sancinelli. Fifth, Derek Holland. Sixth, Michael Key. Seventh, Greg Brockway. Eighth, Patrick Preventis. And ninth, Jeff Cranston. And 10th, Nick Parsoneau. So with that, while we wait for the points to get calculated by our the administrators of the Ricmotech series, we will start with some interviews. The man I want to talk to is going to be Brennan Horan, who took the win here in ST Open. Brennan, bring him on in here. All right, so we are here with Brennan Horan. And Brennan, I got to tell you, watching the battle you had this whole race with Josh Soto was amazing. Walk me through the last two laps where you had to make a pass and hold off Josh for this win.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. We both, it was pretty clear that we both had very old tires that had no grip left in them. So it was really up to us to make the right defensive moves or offensive moves, and came out at the end that I made the right defensive move. So here I am.
Well, we got a little worried because when you guys came out of the pits, it looked like Josh had made a bit of a mistake in the pits, and you had about a 4 or 5 second advantage, and that evaporated with about 5 laps to go. What was happening there with the pace? Just the car tires going away at that point, or something else?
Well, first let me say we both had big issues in the pits. I missed my stall by about 10 feet maybe, but he missed his by a good 50 feet. So he had to stick it in reverse for a little while. But after that, it was, I felt really comfortable. I was kind of in the groove and I thought I was doing really well, but I kept looking at the relatives and it went from 4.5 to 4 to 3 to 2. So clearly I was just off the pace a little bit. The tires felt fine. Everything felt fine, but I think it was just me tonight.
Well, it was certainly enough there at the end to hold off Josh. It was a clearly exciting race right down to the finish, and we're kind of waiting to see how the points rack up. But a good finish for you on the overall, and a great way to wrap up the season with a victory here at Barber. Who do you want to thank for this win tonight?
Well, I got to thank Team Esport Racer and our sponsor GB Consulting for the computing power. I'd like to thank Extreme and their sponsors, Ricmotech and Proforma. It's just, I know everyone says it, but it really is true. It's the most professional league on iRacing, especially from a driver's standpoint. It feels like a real race weekend. I'd like to thank you guys for the great broadcast as always. It means a lot to watch it after and during the race. I know you guys know that.
Yeah, it's never good, by the way, to listen to the announcers during the race. You should be focusing.
Well, you guys tell me who takes different tires and stuff like that, so it's a little bit of cheating. But yeah, I'd like to thank my mom, my grandparents, and the rest of my family for supporting me. It's been about a year and a quarter of doing league races, and they've had a good time watching, and I like to thank them for their support. And yeah, Josh Soto, thanks to him, it's just a great battle all season, and I think he may have won it. I'm pretty sure he won it, but yeah, it was just really fun racing with him all season, and he's a great driver. He definitely deserved it this season, so thanks to him.
Yeah, it was a great season overall, watching you guys battle, and regardless where it ends up, congratulations on, at least this point, no worse than a second place on the overall points, but definitely a win here today in the finale at Barber Motorsports Park. So, Brennan, congratulations on that again, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you hopefully in the next season.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I hope to see you too. I'll see you then.
All right, thanks, Brennan. All right, tell you what, with that, why don't we bring in his chief rival, Josh Soto. We'll bring him into this right now as we're talking ST Open. Second here. There we go. So we are now here with Josh Soto. And Josh, we just talked to Brennan about an exciting battle between you. I want to hear your side of those last couple laps as you guys kind of came nose to tail and right up to the end.
Oh yeah, I realized I was running out of fuel, so I decided to try to get some draft laps in, try to conserve as much fuel as possible. Ended up having a hard time to try to keep pace with Brennan. He started running some really fast laps towards the end, and just had a really great strategy.
Well, the other thing we just talked to him about was neither of you guys had exactly the ideal pit stop. We happened to catch yours on the camera feed. Walk me through. Did you just kind of miss your flag man there and think his was yours?
Oh yeah. I just had a like an off night today. In practice, my pit was like further up, so I was thinking it was further up, so that's why I kind of missed it, and then I was like, oh. Reverse.
Well, you managed to recover at least and only put you a couple seconds down and able to make that up and put on quite a finish right up there to the end. That was definitely an exciting nose to tail. It was great that you and Brennan could wind up the season as rivals, finishing the last race nose to tail like that. We're kind of waiting on the points. I think you're probably going to, as your second place here, going to retain first place and win the open class. What's that mean to you here, taking potentially a championship here in the Ricmotech ST Open?
Oh man, it means a lot. It is a very awesome series. It is very challenging, especially like racing against these guys on like controller and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a really great series to be able to be a part of.
Well, congratulations on that. In fact, I think I'm looking at the provisional points. It looks like you're going to wind up with 144 to Brennan's 121 with your 5 wins that you came into in this. So you've really dominated this and well deserved to win this. You've been mixing it up with the ST Pros for a lot of the season and had some great races. So I'm looking forward to seeing you hopefully back next season. You're going to come back with a whole team that maybe you want to thank for the championship?
Oh yeah. Yes, for sure. I'll be back for the next season. Oh yeah, I just want to thank my mom. I want to thank my friends. I want to thank Extreme Motorsports 99, Ricmotech high performance sim racing equipment. They got really great stuff on there. Pro Forma Elite Texas Graphics, and I also want to thank you guys, Apex Racing TV, Larry Michael, Greg Ginsburg, and just thank you guys for this series. It's awesome.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. And congratulations again. Well deserved. Looking forward to seeing you next season and seeing how far you can go.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. All right, let's turn our attention to the winners of this race. Let's start with Zach Burke, who put on quite a show there with Elvis Rankin. Zach Burke joining us now. Zach coming home second tonight, holding off a hard charge from Mike Dam. But boy, those last couple laps between you and Elvis, that was intense. Walk me through a little bit of where you were trying to get by.
I wasn't too sure. Maybe that was my problem. I was just waiting to see where I would get a run on him and try and stuff it down in there. But Elvis drove a pretty wide car those last couple of laps, so.
Yeah, it did. It appeared to be a little bit wide at times. Certainly, the last lap coming off of the S's and down that back straight, a lot of width to that car. But you gave it. It looked like everything. You were throwing the kitchen sink at him for a while. My worry was that Did you realize how quickly Mike Dan was catching you guys?
Yeah, I was keeping an eye on him in the rear view, but I would have liked to have a little bit bigger gap before I started throwing some stuff at Elvis, but kind of time ran out. So, and Mike was super fast, so I was lucky to hold him off anyway. So he ran a good race. Elvis ran a great race, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked like it. You were racy early on, trying to get around John Allen. You finally did, and then of course racing right to the end with Elvis Rankin. And it certainly this series never disappoints. And I'm looking at the overall points now. It looks like you've locked up second place. So congratulations for that for this season. That's a tough feat in this tough crowd. I imagine you've racing against these guys. These guys got some pretty good talent, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a super stacked field here. So yeah, the season as a whole turned out pretty well for me, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, congratulations on the second place in the season, and of course, second place tonight. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you, hopefully, in the next season as we get queued up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Zach. And we will bring in our race winner, and I'm looking at the overall ST Pro Championship winner, Elvis Rankin. Bring him in here 1 second. There we go. We've got Elvis Rankin joining us now. And Elvis, one of the hardest fought victories of this season, I'm sure. Have you caught your breath yet?
I think so. I think I'm all right. I've just been vibing and jamming out, so I think I'm all right.
All right. Yeah, that was a pretty intense last couple of battles, last couple of laps there with Zach. We just talked to him, and he was saying he's throwing everything at you, and I'm guessing you were throwing everything back to hold him off.
I knew that he was much faster. Mike was fast, and I was kind of the sitting duck. I destroyed the tires completely. Like they were just, I mean, you might as well just throw them in the dumpster. They were so bad. But I knew I had to defend for my life, and just, I knew that Zach was maybe going to try and muscle me and just try and maybe put the bumper, do something like that. So I was ready for it. And yeah, just trying to make the car as wide as possible.
Well, you definitely did, and it looked just fantastic. Never really put a tire wrong. Where other drivers, Mike Dam had his connection issues early, John Allen issues. The only off we saw maybe was coming off of turn 1. You put in the grass, but just like a pro, just keep your foot in it, right back up the hill to 2, and no harm, no foul. But to hold on for that win tonight, it's got to mean a lot to you to come home with this win in the last round of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Barber's one of the favorite tracks, and having fun practicing on it, and it's just been super fun to race at, and it's definitely a good one to win. So I'm taking it, especially with how hard I had to fight for it. So it was good.
Yeah, and fight for the win here today. You get that win, and for the season championship, you're going to walk away with back-to-back championships now here in the Classic Sprint Series, the 17 season, and now the season 18 championship. What's that mean to you and to your team that supports you so much?
Well, for me personally, I think it's really, really cool, for the effort that I'm trying to put in and just keep the performance. I think a quote from people is like, well, it's easy to win that first championship, but it's hard to maintain it and win another one. So I think I've proven it that I have the capability and I have the things I need to do. But yeah, the team's super thrilled about it, and yeah, it's just been an amazing season.
Yeah. Well, and it's been amazing to watch. I'm thrilled. I love seeing the high level of racing that you put on week after week. As you know now, with 2 of these, you've got the target in your back every single week out, and you never seem to disappoint. But I know that team of yours supports you so much, and I'm sure they'd love a little bit of shout out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Got to thank Apex Racing Team. Just everything that they've done for me has just been unreal, and all the guys, they've just been kind of welcoming me with open arms for the time I've been here, and just really helping develop just that last little bit that I need. And I feel like without them, I wouldn't have been here today. I felt like I was in a little bit of a slump, and I was lacked of motivation. And then as soon as I got to meet these guys, it just sprung right to the roof, and I was ready to go, ready to race, and ready to do all that stuff. And yeah, of course, all the team sponsors, SDK Gaming, Apex Racing Academy, Virtual Racing School, and Simputers. Without those guys, our cars wouldn't be where we are. And a big thank you to those guys. And then, of course, all the personal supporters, my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, and, of course, Mark from HVP. Thank you to those guys for supporting me on track and sim racing. It means a lot for me, for them to have my back whenever I need it. And, yeah, of course, you guys at Apex Racing TV for broadcasting the race. And we cannot forget Extreme 99, Ricmotech, and, of course, the league admins, Kevin, Jeff, Ryan. I don't know if he was here tonight, but he's done an amazing job all season. All those guys have all season, so big thank you to them. Without those guys, we wouldn't be on 18 seasons of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an amazing run, great series all around, and great talent that you have risen above all here this season in the Classic Sprint Series. Elvis, congratulations on a back-to-back championship here in the MX5 Cup cars.
Yeah, cheers.
All right, thank you, Elvis. And with that, we will take a look at the next couple rounds, what we have coming up on the Ricmotech series, the next couple of Monday nights. Next week, we are going to be at Watkins Glen for the sports car series. We'll see our GT4s and TCR cars battling it out there next Monday at Watkins Glen. And then we'll be off, of course, for the U.S. holiday for Memorial Day. And we will be coming back for the World Challenge Round 7 back to Japan at the Twin Ring Motegi for our World Challenge Series. And then if you're looking forward to when the next Classic Sprint Series queues up, Season 19, we don't know the track yet, but it's going to be June 28th. So you're going to have to wait about a month for the start of the next round of the Ricmotech Classic Sprints, but they will be there, and you're going to see a lot of these same drivers queuing it up, and you'll see it all right here, hopefully, on Apex Racing TV. So with that, I'm Larry Lefty McLeod, and for Marco Barbonera, well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, like us there. We're also on all the other social media platforms. Follow us along and catch out all the great actions here on Apex Racing TV. And with that, well, thank you for watching and have a good night.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.